You might hear some construction work behind me as final preparations are underway here in London for Monday's funeral for Queen Elizabeth. Thousands of military personnel took part in a full rehearsal early this morning, marching through the streets, towing the state gun carriage that will carry the Queen's coffin as the bagpipes played. It's a preview of what's to come on Monday's big procession into and out of Westminster Abbey behind me, where the state funeral will take place. And ABC News foreign correspondent James Longman is here with me now with a little bit more on this. And James, the palace just released some new details about the funeral. What's the latest?
So the long lines of people waiting to see her lying in state, that will end at 6 a.m. on Monday morning, and then everything gets kicked into gear. So she will be brought in procession from Westminster Palace, which is just behind us here, very short distance into Westminster Abbey. The funeral will last an hour. The Archbishop of Canterbury is going to be leading that, and then once it's done, she'll be brought back out here, and there'll be a full ceremonial procession through London. The crown jewels will be on her coffin. She is our head of state, and that's why they'll be there. These priceless jewels will be there for everyone to see. The royal standard, of course, draped over the coffin, as we've already seen. It'll be pulled by 6 black horses, and the household cavalry will be accompanying her, of course, through London, and then she'll be taken by car to Windsor, where there'll be a private service at the chapel there, St George's Chapel, which we've seen many times at all kinds of different royal occasions. She'll be buried alongside her husband, her father, and her sister, Princess Margaret.
Now, we saw some of the rehearsals overnight for this. This happened in the middle of the night, and again, it was just a rehearsal, and yet people still came out to watch.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. I mean, remember, people have come from not just all over the country, but all over the world to be here, so I think maybe they're getting their money's worth. They want to see all the different stuff that's going on. I actually was walking over here earlier today, and I saw a group of Canadian tourists who were already camping in the park to get a good spot for the actual funeral on Monday. I mean, we're thinking maybe 1 million people in the city. It's going to be extraordinary.
Security's going to be tight for that, for sure. And while the crowd is expected to be, as you said, upwards of 1 million people for the funeral, you're already talking about hundreds of thousands of people that are lining up as we speak to see the Queen as she lies in state in Westminster Palace. I know you were out on the line earlier this morning. What was that like?
It's very moving, really, just seeing your compatriots, you know, lining up to see the head of state. This has happened a number of times before. We've seen these extraordinary pictures, actually, of earlier lines queuing up to see George VI and the Queen Mother only 20 years ago. But this outstrips any of that. The numbers are much, much larger. People are upbeat. It's kind of a happy atmosphere. And then when you get closer to Westminster Hall, it becomes a lot more somber. People are really there in mourning. I mean, but just think about it. 10 hours in line for 2 seconds next to the Queen's coffin. But for tens of thousands of people, that's worth it.
And the King is said to be taking a personal day of reflection today, so we don't expect to see him today. But we are now hearing that we will see him and his siblings tomorrow night.
That's right. So today he is with his red boxes. He's head of state, so he's going to go through sort of official papers, I imagine, being briefed about the security preparations for the actual funeral, and also speaking to the Governor-Generals of all the different countries where he is also head of state. But yes, tomorrow we will see him and his siblings. Very moving moment, I think, with Princess Anne, Prince Edward and Prince Andrew. They will stand vigil for 15 minutes out on the 4 corners of their mother's coffin. And I think that's going to be another very moving moment in a whole series of extremely moving moments.
And walk us through the symbolism there, James, because so much of all of the ceremonies that we've seen so far seem to be about the dual role. She played many more, but the role that the Queen played as head of the family and also head of state.
Yeah, absolutely. And seeing her children around her is just going to be a very moving moment. And for the people to be close to these members of the royal family, I think that's what a lot of people in the United States find strange about this. It's very close. You know, we are just a hand's breadth from them as they're close to us. The security preparations are going to be insane because the royal family wants to be seen to be close to us. While they're grieving, they know the nation is grieving, and they're trying to show us that we can all do it together.
All right, James Longman, great to have you as always. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.